You have about another minute here and then we'll get started. Here we go. It's 7:05. I'd like to welcome everybody and thank everybody for coming. And just let you know that we're going to have, there's probably going to be some more people showing up later. We're expecting Alicia to show up a little bit later from the Village Learning Place, as well as some other nonprofits. And there's some people on the agenda that haven't shown up yet, but I'm expecting them to show up as we get going. But I want to get the meeting started because I don't want to go too late tonight. So let's start with Leah. I have you first on the agenda here. Would you like to update us on what's going on in the mayor's office?
Good evening, everyone. I don't have too many updates from the mayor's office today. I just have two. The first is to let you know that we've changed leadership in the mayor's office of neighborhoods. I'm quite sure some of you are used to working with Scott Davis, who was our director, but he is now the chief of staff over at DHCD. So we welcome Rashad Singletary, who comes from Monzi. He was the associate director for the gun violence prevention program under Monzi, as well as a Safe Street site director in the Park Heights area. So we welcome him in leadership here. And as I've extended this invitation to my other districts, if you are interested in having Mr. Singletary come on to introduce himself and speak with the association, please let me know and I'll make sure that I get him on the schedule to come to one of your future meetings. The second one is, which I'm quite sure you all saw the press release, is that Deputy Faith Leach is now the chief city administrator. So for those who don't quite understand what that is, what she's going to be doing is overseeing the day-to-day operations, of all of our city agencies. So if you are familiar with that position, that was occupied by Chris Shorter, who has gone for leadership in Northern Virginia, and we've welcomed Deputy Mayor Faith Leach to that position. I do not have any other updates specific from the mayor's office right now. However, I did speak with Councilwoman Ramos on yesterday, and she sent me over some updates from Chief Haynes and DOT. Now, I know, Paul, you were mentioning that you aren't going to speak to some of those traffic calming issues today. So I'm not sure if what I have on the list is what you meant, but I can move forward with sharing those updates with you if you'd like.
I would like that.
That would be great. I'd like to hear anything you have to add about traffic calming. Thank you.
Okay, sure. All righty. So per Chief Haynes, the timing of the lights on 28th and 29th Street, they are beginning a citywide optimization project starting in February. And they're going to be updating all of the traffic signals, the timing throughout the city over a 3-year period. This area specifically is a part of the northeast cluster that won't be completed until year 2. So you're not going to look at the changing of the timing, unfortunately, until that phase is in effect sometime next year. The exact date is not known, but it won't be until sometime next year for both of those corridors. I do know it's going to start in spring and summer, but I'm not sure an exact date yet. in regards to the speed camera on 35th and the Alameda. That is currently, there also is currently a speed enforcement camera at 4,000 Alameda and 3,900 Alameda. So what they, although approved enforcement, speed enforcement was approved for the 2,700 through 3,200 blocks of the Alameda. But in order to promote efficacy and efficiency, they're asking if this can be moved, if the location can be, if it can be relocated. So the committee approved for it in 2,700, 3,200 block of Alameda, but they're asking if this could be relocated. The actual block has not been given just as of yet, but that is something that they are working on as well. Let's see, the next one that I have is in regards to Evans Chapel and 41st. They are currently following up with the contractor to determine a timeline for this project. In the meantime, they are evaluating where the flex post placement will be and making appropriate red line changes for final approval. Once they go through that phase, they will provide that information to the contractor to have them add to their project task lists. Again, an ETA for that was not given, but that is something that is in the works. They also had on the list removing peak parking restrictions from Falls Road, Greenmount Avenue, and 33rd Street. Well, it looks like they are overseeing a consultant study to evaluate this. So since Mr. Graham is transitioning into a new role, they are in the process of determining who is going to be the new project manager to run this effort. So that information was not given, unfortunately, but it is on the to-do list. And last but not least, one way for the 1,500, okay, well, this is not for CVCA. So this is all in District 14. So this one is specific, not to CVCA. So that is what was sent to me by way of Councilwoman Ramos in regards to some traffic calming efforts that I know she was concerned about and you guys were concerned about. So I just wanted to deliver that message for you. If anyone from DOT has any follow-up that's on the call, feel free to jump in. And that is all I have for you guys today. Does anyone have anything for me?
Jennifer, Jed, do you have anything?
Nothing really specific, I guess. Thank you very much. I appreciate hearing something. I guess it just begs the question how decisions are made, but we'll talk about that later. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Leah. Anybody else have any other questions for Leah? Okay, let's move on. Officer McBride. I have Shantice down here, but Officer McBride, I believe that you're here to speak for the 12th district.
Yes, I am. Good evening, everybody. Officer McBride and Chill. I have the stats for the last 28-day period. It begins on December 25th of 2022 and ends the 21st of January 2023. So you all have no shootings, no homicides. You have 1 rape, 3 robberies, 2 aggravated assaults, 0 burglaries, 13 larcenies, 1 auto theft, which is a total of 20 Part 1 crimes and 14 property crimes and 6 violent crimes. Your numbers are actually down. Part 1 crimes are 20, they were 25. Violent crimes are 6, it was 11, and the property crimes are actually evened up, or they're negative 14, actually. So you guys are in pretty good shape, considering everything that's going on in the city. I have no real updates of anything else. You can ask me any question you would like. I will try to give you the best answer that I have. I'm trying to find the answer.
So does anybody have any questions for Officer McBride? Okay, moving on to Terrence from the Department of Public Works. Do you have any, what do you have for us tonight, Terrence?
Good evening, everyone. Terrence Brown, DPW Community Liaison. And actually, I just have a couple updates for you. One would be our water bill customer self-service portal, where you can go online and you can view your water bill pretty much in real time. A lot of times, a lot of residents find that they may have a leak or something like that, and they're able to catch it pretty soon. If you are not aware of that, or if you're not already online, you can find your activation code on the back of your water bill. And speaking of the water bill, segueing directly into the paperless billing, we are now doing paperless billing. So you'll be notified by way of email through that actual portal. So again, if you're interested in paperless billing, then you definitely want to be online on your customer self-service portal so you can be notified by way of email. Those are the current updates we have for you right now. If you have any DPW concerns, I can take those now.
Anybody?
Hi, Paul.
Yeah.
Hi, this is Christina. I'm with the Charlesville Community Benefits District.
Hi, Christina. How are you?
I'm good. I have so many DPW concerns, but I'm just going to limit them this evening to one around the recycling cans and the recycling collection. So a few neighbors, and I know it's an issue across the city, have brought this to our attention around the recycling cans, just kind of like being, I don't want to say destroyed, but like they're splitting in half, or like the cans are split. I mean, there's a lot of issues, and I think with today's scare of the weather, the hope is that there is some ability to have some of those replaced. Just wondering what that process looks like. Wanted to confirm with folks that it's still 311, but just wanted to check in with you, Tim, about that.
Absolutely. Yes, the process has not changed. It's still 311. Excuse me. We actually have a ton of those on back order now. So if you do have a recycling or just your regular trash can, it's the same process. Definitely contact 311 as soon as possible, so we can put that request in.
Yeah, I had heard that they were on back order, so I guess I was really asking, like, do you have an update on like how quickly they can be replaced, or how soon that looks like that order will be filled?
The last request I had was about a week and a half ago, where I updated them, and I was told we're looking at least 6 weeks out. I can check back, but this was a week and a half ago. I don't know where things stand right now, but I can find that out for you.
Okay, that would be helpful. And then I won't bother you with other questions here, but
No, actually,
I'm
I was
sorry.
gonna say, if you could, do you have my email?
I do, yes.
Okay, yeah, just and this is for everyone. You may or may not be aware of the process, but anytime you have a DPW concern, the first step is to contact 311 so we can track those concerns and follow up on those when necessary. But if you're quoted a specific time frame and that concern has not been addressed in that time frame, please contact me, and I'll put my information, well, if I can, on my phone. I'm not sure. Sometimes it acts silly, but I'll if the president or someone could spread my email, it's Terrence, TERRANCE .Brown, BROWN at baltimorecity.gov, and just send those to me. Send me those service request numbers that they give you, and I'll follow up on those for you.
Could you put that in the chat so people can get it, Terrence?
Yes, that's why I said I'm gonna try. I know sometimes it doesn't allow me to do the chat on my phone, but I'm gonna do my best.
While he's doing that, does anybody else have a question, any questions for Terrence? Terrence, what about going back to recycling once a week? Is that in the cards anytime soon?
No, and that's a hot topic. And so we're constantly getting updates on that. And right now, that's not something that's in the works at the moment.
Thank you. Is there anybody else? Okay, well,
Wait a
let's,
minute, Paul,
yeah.
Paul, one quick question. Terrence, this is Sue Walther. I live up in, up by Johns Hopkins. And our dear students nearby still don't know what's recycling and what's garbage and how to put things out. So we see plastic bags in the recycling cans, that kind of thing. Years ago, you had a wonderful little sign that said, this is recycling, that's garbage. Is there any hope at all that, you could ever get posters done again or make them available so I can, encourage the landlords that we know to put it out to their students? Whoops, Terrence, is he gone? Nope.
I'm
Terrence,
sorry.
you're
I'm sorry. I was trying to type in the chat and I muted myself. But yes, I can get those materials to you. As far as posters, I'm not exactly sure. I can see what's available is in a poster form. But as far as literature and stickers and different things with the same message on it, I can definitely get those to you either digitally or I can drop them off at a specific location.
Okay, good. I'll send you an email then. How about that?
Okay. All
That'd be
right.
great.
And
Thank you.
did my address come through in the chat?
Let's see. I wrote it down. Yep,
Yes,
I see
yes, it
it.
did.
Good
Okay.
job.
yes, it
All
did.
right.
We'll
It
be
And
in
worked.
if it's
touch.
helpful,
Thank you.
and if it's helpful, the benefits district can be a location for you to drop off any materials, and we can coordinate getting them out to folks.
Oh, thank you,
Absolutely.
Christina. That's great. Thank you. Okay.
I
You're welcome.
appreciate that.
How about anybody else? Do we have anybody else? Going once, going twice. Let's move on to Jennifer. Hi, Jennifer. How you doing tonight?
I'm doing well, thank you. And Susan, I think that's a great segue. So John Walter, our student community liaison, I'm pretty certain he has the DPW information as for regards to like sanitation and recycling. But if there are new materials, we'll make sure that he has that, and he can, when he goes door to door and he's having communications with students, we'll make sure he can do that. So yeah, happy to participate and make sure that our students have the latest materials or a reminder of the do's and don'ts of recycling and also sanitation. So happy to help with that. Speaking of students, they returned from winter break on Monday, so they are back. As far as other updates, I don't really have a lot. I think I had mentioned the last time the last meeting that the ice rink is up and running. It's on its second week. It will run through February 19th. So if you go online, and I'll put it in the chat. The affiliates, Hopkins affiliates, are during the weekdays, and on the weekends it's Johns Hopkins affiliates, but also like open to the general public. If you haven't been by there, it's a really great thing to see. Families, young kids, just folks having a really good time and enjoying it. So if you are a skater or know somebody who wants to skate, just please take advantage of it. And again, that's through February 19th. I don't really have any other updates. A lot of our projects, there's no milestone. So the Student Center, there is no major milestone updates that I would be providing. Usually I'll send those type of information to the Benefits District, and also like, Sandy is chair of the Land Use Committee and others, and then certainly the president of CBCA. So don't really have any major updates on any of our projects or anything. It's been kind of quiet since students have been gone. So I'll take any questions if anybody has anything.
Jennifer, it's Janice Davis. One quick question for you. Where is the ice rink?
It's where the tennis courts are on basically
Oh, okay.
Wall Street. Yeah. So they, kind of a short season because they, gotta dismantle it sort of like mid-February so they can get ready for tennis in March. So it opened on the 13th and will run through February 19th, but it's a unique way of sort of taking the tennis courts and making them an ice skating rink.
Right. Great. Thanks.
You bet.
How about the status of Lee's project up where the Matin Center used to be? The new student center.
Yeah, as I was saying, I don't have any updates on that. Like there's no milestones. There's nothing like, usually if there are milestone along the the construction schedule, I would share that with folks, but there are no sort of major milestones as far as like what's going vertical or what have you.
Thanks.
So, yeah.
Anything else for Jennifer? Anybody?
There's something in the chat, Paul.
I'm sorry. I'm not looking at the chat. Let's see. Can you do something to stop using North Howard Street for construction delivery as trucks over 3/4 of a ton are prohibited? Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah, so our project managers periodically will get complaints about that, and we have people monitor that. So if there are particular times and dates, and so obviously if you put this in the chat, is there something that like as of recently that's been, like this week, was it last week? So we can kind of help pinpoint, if when the issue is.
Jennifer, it's very different. I live on Howard Street and nobody heeds those 3/4 ton truck signs. We get buses and semis and delivery trucks going up and down Howard Street all the time. Perhaps that's something to bring to the DOT's bring to DOT's talk to the DOT about.
I've recorded it.
Okay, thanks. Yeah, that's a big problem. That's on
That's a big problem.
that's on 28th and 29th too. They're not supposed to get 3/4 ton trucks on 28th and 29th. And we've got one of our citizens has gone and made a photo montage of all the trucks that went by in like 3 days about a year and a half ago. And it's just ridiculous how many trucks are on these roads that should not be on. And I've always wanted to know what to do about that. It drives me pretty nuts. Shakes my house.
Mm.
I guess that's about it for Jennifer. Is Christina's here. Would you are you ready for us, Christina?
Well, yes, I'm here. I am driving at the moment. So I know Ron is also here, and so is Rajanice, I believe. So I'm gonna let them go first while I'm still in motion.
Excellent. Hi, Ron. How are you?
How's it going, man? How are you?
Good.
So we basically have one trend that's occurring. It literally just started Friday, January 20th. We had 2 robberies that involved businesses. One was the bread shop at 2801 Guilford Avenue, 1:45 p.m. And the second was at Orient Express, 3111 St. Paul Street at 2:30. Basically, subject comes into the location and implied that he had a gun and got cash from the operator of those facilities. We then had on Monday 2 more occurrences. One at Sophomore Coffee, 2223 Maryland Avenue, that occurred at 1 p.m. And then Charmed Hemp at 5:30 p.m. That's 348 West 20th Street. In those 2 incidents, the individual had a bag over his hand, again implying that he had some sort of handgun. Again, the person working at that establishment complied, and he made off with cash. I met with Northern District yesterday. I met with their commanders yesterday. They are convinced, as am I, that all four are probably the same individual. We all believe that it's someone who lives locally. There were no vehicles spotted, so we believe that he may or may not live in a vacant and probably has some sort of substance abuse problem. Baltimore City or Northern, they've developed a list of businesses that they believe might be targeted in the future, and they are conducting surveillance at those locations. And that's all I have. They're on it.
Anybody else from CVC? Anybody have any questions for Ron? Corey?
Yeah, hi. Sorry, just here randomly to talk about some stuff or to just be here for Jen later. But Ron, let me know if anything further happens in Remington. I'm going to connect with you, but I want to make sure that our businesses here are notified as well of these occurrences. So, but thank you for that update. I appreciate that, like tracking of all those robberies.
Yeah. So when he's caught, and he will be caught, I'll send out an alert, and I'm sure that Christina will make sure that it's on the website so that folks know that it's been resolved.
I will make a note to do that.
I just wanted to call attention to the chat. Jed says that we're getting approximately 50 to 75 trucks per hour on 28th Street, all illegal through traffic. And that's been my experience too. I live right on 28th and Howard, and it's all the time. And that's where we are right now, Christina. And now, Sandy, would you like to talk to the PUD?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, is there somebody else?
We weren't quite done.
I am so sorry, Christina, please.
We roll deep to these meetings.
I have a tendency to try and roll things along so that we can get us all out of here early. And if somebody needs to say something, don't feel bad about telling me, hey, I want to talk. So that's fine. I just try and keep things rolling. So please continue.
Not a problem. Go ahead, Raj.
Okay, no problem. Hi, everyone. So I just wanted to let everyone know that our second cohort of our Community Ambassador program that we ran last year, applications are open. We extended applications to February 3rd. So I'll put that link in the chat. Essentially, just a little bit about the program is just that, we last year we were able to train 6 folks in the community, from mental health aid, first aid to community engagement, composting, recycling. Those are just some of the sessions that we had. Conflict resolution. So you get all this training, and then additionally you'll receive funding to put on a community program in your neighborhood. So that's essentially the program, and we just want to spread the word and get folks applying. So that's all I have so far. Thank you.
Anybody else from CVCBD?
I see Keith is also here. I don't know if he wants to add anything.
Yeah, Keith. You're on mute, Keith.
Nothing to add today. How everybody doing? Nothing to add today. Just fighting with the trash. Getting ready for the spring. Everybody got my email. Feel free to reach out if you have any concern.
Keith, I just wanted to give a shout out to your maintenance crew. So my son goes to Margaret Brent Elementary Middle School, and several months ago, we replanted those big flower pots that are right outside the school. And your maintenance crew is probably aware that in the last couple of weeks, there's been some, I don't know what you would call it, kind of low grade, annoying vandalism of those pots. And my wife told me that unprompted, your crew helped clean that stuff up. So I just wanted to if you could convey to your maintenance crew our gratitude and just let them know we see what you're doing and thank you for everything that you do.
No problem. Appreciate it. I will definitely let them know.
Yeah,
Thank
and Keith, this is Beth. We appreciate the Christmas trees got picked up. I was getting ready to call and ask if that was happening.
Trying my best. Trying my best. We're getting them as we sing.
Mhm.
The only thing I have to offer, I know it's been announced before, but just so folks know that I am leaving the benefits district and my job has been posted in several locations, including on our website. So if anyone is aware of anyone who would be a great replacement, who is interested in keeping the same work culture alive that we have internally, but then also focusing on equitable service delivery and maintaining the high standard of work that our team puts out, and also in developing and supporting other community initiatives, then please direct them to our website or to Indeed to apply.
So Christina, if I can, as board president of CVCBD and past president of CVCA and all the other things, I can't thank you enough for everything that you've done. I hope the community understands that it's a big loss, but I support it and we all should support it. You have given your time and talent and are looking forward to bigger and better things. And we only wish you the best. And it's going to be really hard to find someone to come in behind you, but we're going to do the best that we can.
Thank
Christine,
you.
Christina, I think I can speak for many residents when we say we will miss you. We really have appreciated the energy that you've brought to CVCBD and just the tone that you've set, and that's been great. We will miss you. When did you say you finish?
The plan is that I will be gone by the end of March.
Okay. All right. Well, good luck to you.
Thank you. I'm not going too far. I do have an office on Charles and 25th, so I will still be in the community, still be around. I think mostly everyone knows how to get in touch with me, and I'll make sure to pass that information along. If you ever just want to grab coffee one day and hang out, because I'll have a little bit more time to do that.
Many thanks, Christina. And
Thank you.
I'll keep you in the loop with well, somebody will keep you in the loop with the community meetings as well.
Oh, absolutely. Thank you.
Excellent. Does anybody else have anything for the CVCBD, or anybody from the CVCBD have anything else for us? Okay, Sandy, you want to move on? You want to take the next issue?
Paul, Sandy's not on the call tonight.
Oh,
but
gee, I'm so sorry.
no, but I do see that Al Berry has joined us.
Oh,
via
that's right.
phone.
That's what Sandy said, that she might be here a little later, Al. She said that she was at a Odette celebration. So Al, please, if you would like to speak to this, that'd be great.
I don't think.
Al, are you there? Or are you? I don't see you. Are you on mute? Is he there?
He's not on the list as
Huh.
being in attendance, so.
Okay, well, we'll come back to that. And Matt Pinto, are you out there? Oh, that's a shame. If Matt's not here, I was expecting him. Maybe he's going to show up a little later.
So
It's
Al Berry.
I'm here. Can you hear me?
Now we can.
Okay, sorry, I didn't realize I was on mute.
Oh.
So what I was saying is Sandy and I were at the same birthday party, but she left before I did, so I'm surprised she's not here.
Yeah, maybe she's having issues with her computer, but could you speak
Here
to
she
what's
is.
going on? Are you
Well,
there?
I'm here.
Hi, Sandy. How are you?
Good. It's always somehow a struggle to get on to these meetings, on Zoom meetings or whatever meeting.
Well, please address us about the what's going on with the city ordinance and expansion on 3300.
Okay, and that's why Al is here. It's moving along. Odette will be introducing the legislation in March. But Al will give you more details on what we're actually doing.
Okay, so I don't know who's on the call that may have participated in probably at least a half a dozen meetings about this with the land use committee, with the community association. But just so to the extent that nobody knows anything about this, I'll try to not bore you. But for about the last 10 years, I've been working with the owner of Tambers to try and get the right zoning approval to allow him to continue to operate, have outdoor seating, which a lot of neighborhood people ask for continually. And we've got most of that done, frankly, by approval by the zoning board. One of the things that happened a few years ago was that the owner of Tambers started to buy up, because many of these properties were vacant rental properties. He started to buy up properties on that block. I think he owns all but one of that block. And he came to me a couple of years ago and he said, you know, the city under Transform Baltimore wanted to rezone this block and make it an extension of the planned unit development that stopped at 33rd Street. And that was always anticipated, at least by me and the community, as part of the Charles Village Master Plan that we did for the neighborhood. So when we met with Councilwoman Ramos, she had just been elected, and we met with the city, they said, we absolutely support this. Let's get it done so that you can convert these buildings, which are not they're mostly residential buildings, but they're also are buildings that have could be renovated. And there's been some interest that we know of to put small shops in there, like you would see along 36th Street in Hampton. They're a group of row houses that have porch fronts. You're probably all familiar with it. So that started over 2 years ago. We were going to introduce a bill to simply extend the PUD to allow that, or rezone the properties. And frankly, we got caught up in the other dispute about the change in the PUD for the Eddie's building, the former Eddie's building. So it turns out that the extension of the planned unit development became more complicated because of the new zoning code and the planning department's correct need to say, well, if you're going to redo the planned unit development, we need to update it to bring it in the line with the new Transform Baltimore in terms of uses. And so there's been a group of us working on this for 2 years, and planning department, and that includes the design standards that affect the planned unit development, which has a Charles Village based committee working on, the planning department's architects working on it. And from Tamber's standpoint, all we want to do is to amend the boundaries so that they can put in small retail operations there. So that's the purpose behind this from my client's standpoint. Councilwoman Ramos has been working along with this. There have been any number of community meetings, and we're here. We wish we could give you more background. I think the idea is to have it introduced in March now, we heard. And so there will be hearings. There'll be postings on the property. We can be available for any other meetings that people care about. If they don't, people that wanted to hear about it won't hear it tonight's meeting. So that's my background. I'll try to answer any questions.
And I'd like to add that over the past month and a half, we've been posting first the revised uses list, which is in compliance with the Transform Baltimore uses. That was a major overhaul of the 1970s zoning code that applied to Baltimore. So much of that old code was severely out of date. And so it's now updated, the list is updated, simplified as Transform Baltimore is in the way it lists uses. The other big piece of this is the main function of the North Charles Village PUD is to have a design review for projects within the district so that we help to make sure, ensure that the facades are attractive, the signage works, that there are plans for maintenance, etc. So the reason that the PUD looks so, in my humble opinion, so good today is because this design review committee has been functioning for 25 years for every project that's come on board to get the best design for each particular project. And we want that to continue, and now it will apply to this expansion into the 3300 block.
Yeah, in many ways, the Charles Village PUD is an anomaly, but it's also a successful model of what can happen when you have a community-based design review, which is not present in any of these other developments throughout the city. And in some cases, the city pays a lot of attention to it. Frankly, in many cases, they don't pay attention to it. And whatever they come in with, if it meets the zoning code, it gets permitted and there's no design review. Your neighborhood does not have that. It doesn't just affect signs, it affects the whole building renovation. So the owner of Tambers in that block is willing to put up with that, which comes with the expansion of the PUD as opposed to just rezoning.
Sorry about that.
So there's an extensive presentation on charlesvillage.net. Lots of details. They're really technical. This ordinance will include the design review guidelines as an appendix, and the uses will be incorporated in the base of the ordinance.
And Beth put that link in the chat.
Great, thank you, Beth.
And I would add one thing for those of you who may not be familiar with that process in and of itself. The people that Sandy and the Charles Village, the Design Review Committee, they're frankly very accomplished professionals. One person has served for years on the city's Historic Commission, lives in the neighborhood essentially or right outside Charles Village.
Matt Mosca.
Yeah, Matthew Mosca. And so, but if anybody, feel free to look at the details, and there are a lot of them, unfortunately, but feel free to contact Sandy or myself if you have any questions. We don't want to in any way feel that we're putting this over on anybody. They haven't had input. And that's why we've had, this may be the 7th or 8th. I can't remember how many times we've met with everybody over the last year and a half.
Does anybody have any questions regarding the expansion to the 3300 blocks, the PUD, the MVC PUD?
Paul,
NCV
there's a question in the chat.
Oh, I beg your pardon. Let's see, what do we have here? Is there any update on the old Schnapp Shop building?
Regrettably, and it's right behind me, I don't have an update. I know the owners. I need to, I will follow up. I will call them and find out what the plans are. They continue to upgrade the building. Most of the apartments have been redone. but it is largely vacant. I know that a big part of the problem is establishing a new restaurant in this climate. They own 2 restaurants in DC. So they're very accomplished restaurant managers. It's really, the interior of the market is ready to go. And so but I will promise to find out what's happening, what the plan is. As far as I know, it was to go ahead. So, but it's taking a long time.
Gina has a question in there, in the chat. She says, what is considered after hours establishment? I see it as not being allowed in the updated PUD as a C1.
Al, can you speak to that?
Well, one of the aspects of the review by both the city and the community people working on the uses is that the new zoning code in some ways was more permissive than the old zoning code. So one had to go through and see uses that might have been allowable, but with special approval with those uses that you may not want at all. So the PUD allows the restriction that under the just straight zoning might allow an after hours club to come in and ask for approval. The decision or the recommendation is to say, no, you can't have it at all.
What's
That's the
considered after
philosophy
hours?
behind.
What's considered after hours establishment? Like are there certain set hours? Is there, like, I'm looking for a definition of what an after hours establishment is.
Well, there.
After 2 a.m.
Okay.
That's generally not allowed anywhere, is it? It's to serve alcohol after 2 in Baltimore City, I think is illegal.
That's right. These are clubs. You would not want this in this area because of the, it's just not, I don't know why anybody would want that up here in the very congested area with lots of residents.
Yeah, that
Yeah, but
are
I
we
think to Gina's point, I think what she's trying to say is like, maybe is it possible to more explicitly define what after hours is? I mean, I go to bed at 9:45 every night, so 10 p.m. is after hours, but I don't know if the definition is after 2 a.m. Could we call it an after 2 a.m. establishment?
No,
or is that a term of art in the city?
It's a term.
And you could look it up
within
and find a
zoning
definition.
code.
And you could look it up and find a definition, basically.
Yeah, it's a term within the
Okay.
zoning code. All those
Got it.
categories are official. It's like a glossary that we follow.
Yeah, it was a common term when I was in hospitality. You go to an after hours club after your shift.
Cool. Anyway,
there's
thanks. I do appreciate your work on this, Sandy.
Well, thank you. It's been a ton of work, but it's really well worth it. And it was very timely because the PUD is now 25 years old. And there is, even in spite of the fact that the zoning code was redone, the design review guidelines were very out of date also. So it was imperative that we enact a new up-to-date code.
And then Sandy, once this is updated, are all the existing businesses expected to conform to this?
Yes, just like they have, yes.
Okay, and there will be I guess a certain amount of time given them that they will be given a certain amount of time to get this done.
Well, it's the way our PUD operates is that it's project by project. So only when there's an owner or business manager making a change, do they come to the PUD. We don't. So it's on on-call basis.
Okay, so anybody whose signage and doesn't conform, unless they're making a major change, there's no real reason for them to make a change. To
Right,
update.
right. So we live with, like it took until 3 years ago to get rid of that horrible old cleaner sign that was on the building where the laundromat is.
Yeah. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, no, it's all voluntary, and frankly, the whole code, the whole design review process is, we function as in an advisory role. We cannot dictate. We are strictly advisory.
Okay.
We're not a political body.
That's right. We're not exactly.
We're not
Yeah.
quasi-governmental. We're nothing.
Right. Right. So we really truly work in collaboration to get the best results.
Anybody else for Sandy regarding this topic? There's a question in the chat that says this is a pretty salient question. What about the removal of the graffiti on the old Schnapp shop? Is there any way you can influence the owners to really step up and take care of that, because it is a mess? It really
Well,
is.
they did. I did prevail upon them to paint all the wooden boards were white with nasty graffiti, and about a month ago they painted them red, and that made a huge difference. The only remaining graffiti is regrettable, that someone climbed above the beautiful sign and graffitied on the brick. So I will talk to them.
Thank you, Sandy. Let's see. Where are we now? Oh yeah, we move on to is Matt Pinto here? He said he was going to come. Matt Pinto, is there anybody here from Seawall? Well, I guess Matt and Seawall are not here tonight. I was really hoping that they would show up, and Matt must have had something going on, some emergency or something, because it sounded like he was going to show. Sandy,
Yeah, I can speak to it.
thank you, Sandy.
This is a project that we've been working on, 2705 North Howard. It's called the Service Center. It originally was a Anderson automotive building. I think it had a Honda in it. I can't remember, but it's originally an automotive structure. And Seawall bought it with the idea of converting it to retail and building apartments above it.
Excuse me, Sandy. Just
Yeah.
just to be clear, this is the building that Humanum put brick and board in.
Yeah.
The one
Yeah.
right there just before you get, if you're going south on Howard, it's on the same side as Kay's place, and it's just up from 25th, about on the other side of the alley from the Kay's place.
Right. And they own that property plus the parking lots behind it, with the exception of the very first one, which is owned by the Union, that's on 25th Street. Anyway, they've gone through 3 different plans. The final plan is what is now approved and was going to be presented tonight, in that they will build 2 floors of retail and add 6 floors, I think it's 6 floors of apartments above. And we've had, for each case, we've had block meetings that we've invited all the people who live around, surrounding the site, had good attendance at the meetings, and had a lot of and Seawall has sought input so that there's cooperation in how how the alley and the back works. And we heard no opposition from the neighbors.
And to be quite honest, I've been in that building before, and it's a leaky mess. And it's not it's a beautiful old building, but it's not very practical. It's pretty much a parking garage. The way if you go in through the garage door there, it goes up in a spiral, and the only flat area is in the showroom next to it.
Yeah.
And it's just not a very good building. It would not be easily converted. So
Right. Well, in the fall, the
rebuilt.
very first plan was to reuse the building, and then they realized the cost was ridiculous. And like you say, it's not level. It was so problematic that they finally scrapped it and have come up with this final plan, which they've gone through design review. I'm really sorry Matt isn't here.
Yeah, me too. I would have really liked to have seen him. Jed in the chat says that they wanted to try and save the building, but it doesn't actually have full footers. So the foundation is probably not good enough to build on top of.
Right, the whole thing was not, in the end, it was totally impractical. So it's going to be demolished.
Yeah, okay. Sandy, this is Sue Walther. Is it, are there market rate apartments? Can you talk about those? Do you know anything about that?
They're designed for not high end, but more reasonably priced.
Okay,
apartments.
good. All right, thank you.
Does anybody else have any questions for Sandy here? Anybody else have anything to add? Okay, moving on. Chiquetta, am I pronouncing your name correctly? Is Chiquetta still here? Chiquetta, you're on mute.
Yes, thank you.
Am I pronouncing your name correctly?
Yes, you pronounced my name correctly.
Excellent.
Thank you. Hi, everyone. My name is Chiquetta Wallace. I am the new DOT liaison for districts 3, 7, 12, and 14. And as I understand it, Charles Village Community Association is partly in 12 and partly in 14. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay, so I was doing my homework a little bit. I was just coming to introduce myself and to remind everyone that tomorrow night we are having a public engagement meeting for Wyman Park Drive at Keswick Road and Sisson Streets, where we're going to be doing some safety improvements. And that starts tomorrow at 6 p.m. And I will drop the link into the chat along with my information as well. My cell phone number is 443-604-3660. Sorry, still learning it. And my email is my first name, CHAQUETTA.Wallace@baltimorecity.gov. I've been with the city for nearly 8 years now, but I am new to DOT. So I look forward to helping in any way possible. As Mr. Terrence said, we always start with 311. And after that time frame has elapsed, then the agencies can follow up and give you more information on what happened with your SRs. And if there are any questions, I'm happy to take them.
Chiquetta, good to see you. Welcome. It's Miller.
I thought that was you. Hi, Miller. We work in city council together.
Could you please put the link for tomorrow night's meeting in the chat?
Jennifer, did you have a question?
No, I just wanted to thank Ms. Wallace for attending, and we are grateful to finally have somebody that we can count on to coordinate with on traffic calming issues. Just for your information, we won't bore you with tons of details, but really since 2018 or earlier, there has been a lot of attention in particular to the dangerous traffic behavior, I guess, for lack of a better term, on the 29th and 28th Street corridors, the one ways. that lead between I-83 and Greenmount. And so we are particularly interested in being able to get the attention of DOT to do a really good data-driven analysis on that. We've talked about lots of possible small types of traffic calming treatments, but really given the high volumes, given that it's connecting streets, given that there is a great deal of pedestrian and bike traffic going, crossing these east-west running roads. We really believe that this really requires some pretty comprehensive analysis. Since 2018, and I didn't move here until 2019, but my neighbors have an amazing, kind of like the truck travel that Paul talked about a minute ago. We have an amazing photographic history of some pretty hideous traffic accidents. I mean, these are the kinds where cars are on people's front lawns. And, you know, we're a dense community, we walk. And like I said, and we just want to understand how we can get attention to this corridor and just work with you on that. And you mentioned 311. We have used that vehicle. Paul in particular helped us out, put in a bunch of like little small things, but it's harder to figure out how to use that for a corridor-wide type of study with comprehensive issues. You know, the truck traffic, you know, everything else. And so we're happy to work with you and look forward to working with you and hoping we can just meet with you at some point to discuss those issues. If anything, it'll give us the food, you know, the understanding of how to work in the future with other things moving forward. But in the meantime, that's really been our principal area of interest. And we've worked really neighborhood through neighborhood, Able all the way down to Remington on these issues. So did anybody want to comment on that?
Well, I would like to reply. I do know that there has been some comprehensive analysis going on for the area. I just haven't been briefed on it, so I'm not able to share anything. But they are working to make sure that there will be a meeting, and I believe it's going to be a joint standalone meeting on those efforts. But I don't have the information at this time. But so I just wanted to come and introduce myself, but DOT will be talking with your presidents to set up that meeting. And unfortunately, during the pandemic, not only were manners lost and common sense lost, but the ability to drive, we've noticed that as well, in part.
So, no, thank you. And I was excited just to hear that other projects are getting attention. So that means there's got to be a way. And so we'll figure it out and we'll work with you. So thank you. I will be in future contact. Or you will work through our president. You can work through Paul and we'll do it right. I promise.
Daquetta, I just want to let you know that Jennifer is the chairman of the joint traffic calming committee between Charles Village and Remington and all the other neighborhoods that are involved.
Right, all the others.
Everyone in between.
Yeah. And, we do really appreciate you coming here tonight.
The corridor. Yeah, we're working for the corridor.
Also, Jed, did you have anything to add?
Please.
Yeah, I was just going to add, you know, we have gotten some preliminary information from DOT related to a grant we wrote for traffic calming along the 20th Street corridor in Remington. We had gotten a grant from Bernie. It was a Bernie grant. It basically a year and a half ago now to do an implementation that was, you know, faced some delays, but ultimately I think, you know, it could still be on track to do like pretty significant traffic calming on 28th Street from, you know, at least Sisson Street over to Howard Street. And the preliminary data we've seen has been pretty promising. And I think that, you know, Chiquetta is talking about, hopefully we'll get a meeting set up with, you know, both of our groups so we can go over, you know, what those alternatives might look like. We are also going to discuss that at the Greater Remington Improvement Association Land Use Committee meeting, which is next Wednesday at 7 p.m. So anyone is welcome to that. We basically put the Zoom link on our website. So it'll just be on the homepage there, and people can click and join, and anyone from Charles Village is of course welcome to join that. I also believe Seawall will be present to give us some updates on projects throughout Remington, but that will also include that project on Howard Street. So folks, we're looking to see some more information on that. Since Matt Pinto wasn't here tonight, they could probably get it at that meeting as well. So would love people to come and join us at that meeting. So yeah, if you have any questions about what we're trying to do over on this side, please let me know. It's also been a long slog over here. Our initial traffic calming request went in September of 2014. And I think the folks that submitted that request, because they were concerned about their kids, no longer really have kids anymore. So it's it's been a long time coming. So we're excited.
Corey, do you have anything to add?
Nope, I'm just here to answer any questions anybody has, and basically try to say, like, Olive Branch, like, we are fully in support of the entire corridor, and want to make sure that as you know, if this project ever actually happens, as we all know, we're always hesitant until something's actually in the ground to say that it's going to happen. But we and everyone in GRIA, 29th Street still needs work, and I want to make the entire corridor better. And I don't just exist within the Remington boundaries, and so I would like to be able to walk and bike and drive safely all throughout the city. So I just want to make sure everybody knows that, and please feel free to reach out to myself as well. I live on 28th Street as well, so this is extremely personally to me. So yeah, but let me know if you guys have any questions as well, and we're always here. I'll be at the land use meeting next month, and I've been deeply involved with the conversations with the businesses and the residents in our neighborhood to get anything to happen, including doing a full walk of every single resident in the neighborhood and business along the project site to get their support for it. So yeah, just let us know if you need anything or have any questions.
Excellent. Now Chiquetta put up the meeting and the link. I think, is that the whole link right there for the?
Yes, we went for a mini link to make it nice and easy for everyone. Gotcha.
That's excellent. I want to thank everybody who's come tonight to speak about our DOT concerns, and Chiquetta especially, thank you for coming. And everybody, thank you so much. I'm so glad to see so many people from GRIA in a CVCA meeting. It's great.
Oh, one thing I forgot to mention, sorry. Yes, we did receive pictures and SRs that were sent over with statements as well, and those are being incorporated.
Excellent. Does anybody have anything else or any questions?
Chiquetta, the mini link is coming up with a 404 error. Could it be possible to resend a link tomorrow for people to confirm that that's correct?
It is me. I put a I instead of a U. I was typing it directly from the flyer. I will correct that and put it in there.
Thank you so much.
Anything else? Well, moving on. Janice, do you have anything for us?
Thanks, Paul. Yeah, well, I do. We are in the throes of annual renewal for the Charles Village Civic Association for the our 23 operating year. And we've had a fairly good response so far. We have about 100 annual members, and about half of those have renewed their membership. Thank you very much, everybody who's done that. And obviously hoping that others will renew as well. If you have forgotten about it or misplaced your renewal notice, if you just go to our website, charlesvillage.net, and click on membership, you can renew very easily that way. And if you're not yet a member, we invite you to become a member. Dues are just $20 a year, $10 if you're a senior citizen. And it really does, as we talked about in our board meeting a couple of days ago, it's really an investment in Charles Village. And we know that everybody who lives in the city of Baltimore pays big property taxes, and in the Charles Village area, we have a benefits district tax, but this is something that is very, very modestly priced, and it really does go a long way to helping us keep Charles Village a great place to raise families and operate a business and just to enjoy. We just, thanks to John Spurrier's leadership, we put on he counted up 51 events that we had this year, everything from pop-up concerts to other types of events. Obviously, and you just heard this evening how active Sandy and the
Land use.
thank you, land use committee is. And we've really now, thanks to Beth and Gina, have a really very robust communications effort going on to really try to keep the neighborhood updated on what's happening, not just with the Charles Village Civic Association's efforts, but other important things that are happening from Department of Transportation and other things that are going on that people really need to be aware of. And these notices come out every Tuesday. And so I think we're really doing a good job of trying to keep people informed. And of course, our community meetings 5 times a year. So just please, if you're not a member, we'd love to have you. If you are a member, don't forget to renew your membership. Thanks so much. Appreciate your time.
Excellent, 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 excellent. Now, I failed to put any other committee chairs up. Does any other committee have anything to add? Any other Charles Village Civic Association committee have anything to add? Okay, I think we're going to move on to our nonprofit organizations. This time around, I thought it'd be nice to have some words from some local nonprofits. I guess me and Beth can start, or anybody else who's sitting on the CVCA, on the Charles Village Festival Committee. We're a big family here. We cross over the boundaries, the borders, and some of us work in different areas around, volunteer stuff. And I'm one of the 2 vendor coordinators for the Charles Village Festival, and Beth helps put together she spearheads the garden walk, among other things, and the pet parade was Beth's doing this year. Unfortunately, this past year we got pretty well rained out, and we had our festival in October, which was unusual. We were unable to acquire the permitting necessary to have our regular June date this past year, but we got our date for June 2nd and 3rd. Is it 3rd and 4th or 2nd and 3rd? Beth?
3rd and 4th.
3rd and it's Sandy's here too, of course. The 3rd and 4th. We have our date on the 3rd and 4th. And unfortunately, this year we lost our music, not lost, but our music director stepped down, and John Spurrier has stepped up to help us book some wonderful music and DJs, and we're really hoping to rebrand this festival into something new. And we would love to hear ideas from the community of what you would like to see at the Charles Village Festival. And I'd like to hand it off to anybody else who's on the committee who would like to speak to the Charles Village Festival.
Well, this is Beth, and I'm working with sponsorship and some of the refreshing our brand efforts, and we have some great things working. I think we will be able to make some announcements very soon as far as sort of some fresh ideas for the festival and some directions that we're taking it.
Good.
Sandy, do you have anything to add?
No, I think it really behooves us to refresh the festival. It's now over 20 years old. And we've seen a lot of changes within the neighborhood. The most dramatic was when Charles Street was rebuilt so that the festival fits nicely along Charles Street and the upper part of the Dell, the creation of the plaza. So we've come a long way, and festivals at this point, we have a greater competition. There are more festivals, more events across the city. So we have to up the game.
Anybody else? Any questions about the festival?
Yeah, first of all, thanks y'all for your efforts. I'm actually intrigued by this idea that you're sort of thinking about ways to improve it. Do you have any early ideas? Because I will just say, as just a mere consumer of the festival, although it's been 3 years, I guess 3 years since I've been there because of the pandemic, I've always been very satisfied with it. I like your idea of sort of thinking, I'm certainly have never been dissatisfied with it. So I'm just interested, do you have any early thoughts about how you might innovate or change it up? I'm just frankly curious,
So we're looking at some ways of innovating a little bit. Mostly we're looking at re-energizing, so refreshing in a way to re-energize, making sure that it still stays super hyper local, very much reflective of sort of the uniqueness that is Charles Village. And one of the things we did at an early meeting this year was think about ways that, what are the things that sort of define Charles Village? And one of those things is the idea of, we have the painted ladies. And so we're going to sort of refresh around a painted lady theme that can expand and innovate in any number of ways. So it doesn't have to mean a house. But it will include things related to painted lady houses as well. But that is definitely something that Charles Village is known for. And so we're going to kind of riff and play with that idea and kind of have some fun this year.
And also our nearness to the BMA to include more art.
Yes, we would like to really sort of invigorate the artists and makers, especially people who are maybe more local to Charles Village or to the larger community around here, and be able to feature a lot of artists and makers as well. So those are some early ideas. We welcome people's input. We would love a few fresh faces that might be willing to help out with some things. So feel free to reach out to Paul or Sandy or myself, as far as people who are on this meeting tonight, who are also connected to the festival.
Yeah, there's been a lot of ideas. Last year, we John Fink, who ran the 5K every year, who administrated the 5K every year, made it happen. Moved to Pennsylvania with his family, and so we've decided to get rid of the 5K, and we replaced it with a creation of Beth's again called the Pet Parade. And it was a success, but we're hoping to grow it next year with the help of Fluid Movement. They helped this past year, and we're going to hope to make it a really cool Charles Village tradition to have everybody comes out and dresses up their pets and parades them around the festival. And that's another thing that we're thinking of. Beth, do you have anything else?
I don't really think I have anything else, but while we've got some GRIA folks on the call, it would be great if any of them were involved with the RemFest coordination. Would welcome them to reach out. I'm always interested in people's best practices and sort of what your experiences have been with your festivals. And RemFest certainly has a lot of great energy. So happy to kind of have a chat, buy you a beer or something, and hear your stories.
For real, RemFest was fantastic this year. What a great celebration, a great bunch of vendors. I went around and canvassed all the vendors, and they were all really positive about wanting to be part of the Charles Village Festival too. So I was really happy. That was the best response. and I've been doing this, what, about 7, 8 years, maybe 10 years, including the time over the COVID. For the past 10 years, I've been one of the vendor coordinators. And I think that that was probably the best response I've had from any going and canvassing vendors at a festival. They were all just fantastic with me.
What is the date of this year's RemFest?
We were just talking about that. We're probably doing it later on in the year. We were hoping to pull it back to May as it originally was, but some of our key organizers and businesses have found that date to be very challenging. So we're probably thinking towards the end of the year, but we need to navigate the many other things that are going on. So it'll be a similar time to when it was this past year. We'll probably be finalizing on a date in the next
In the fall. It'll be in the fall. Okay.
Yeah, sometime around September, October. We really wanted to pull it forward to May, but it just doesn't work with some of our big organizers of the festival. So it's kind of disappointing, but it was really great this past year. So, things have changed for good reasons.
Yeah, exactly.
Hey, Corey, real quick, one thing that this is Beth again, while we have GRIA folks here, one of the things that I've done in doing our weekly e-news is really try to amplify lots of organizations around the neighborhood. So if you get our e-news at all, you'll see I've got a spot on there for Able and Waverly. Would be thrilled to include little updates that GRIA might want to extend beyond your boundaries. So feel free to reach out to me about that too. Like if you wanted to put hire your events coordinator little position on there, that's something we'd be happy to include in our e-news.
Okay, that sounds great. Yeah, and just if anybody didn't see it, I dropped in the chat. We are hiring someone part-time to help us coordinate some volunteer and event work in our neighborhood. So if you know anybody who's looking for something like that, please feel free to check that out or share it around as you can. We're hoping to have that somewhat handled by the end of next month. So it's pretty quick window, but I want to make sure I shared it here. Thank you, everyone.
Excellent. And Corey, Beth's email is in the chat as well. So there we have it. Anybody else have anything to add to the conversation about the festival? Okay, I'm going to move on. I was hoping that I could get John McLean here tonight. I don't see him here. Does anybody from the Charles Village Foundation here? Okay, well, Sandy, can you tell us a little
Paul, I think they have a board meeting tonight. That's why they're not here.
Yeah, I think that you're correct. John said that he had something going on. So, but does anybody have anything that they would like to share about the foundation, what it is and what its mission is or anything like that? Okay, well, I don't know much about it. I can't really speak to it. So we'll just move on. Alex, are you here? Is there anybody from Velocipede here? Oh, damn. Well, hello?
No.
Nope. Okay, well, I'll tell you a little bit about Velocipede. Velocipede is a nonprofit that's located down at 100 West 22nd Street. It's like right just north of the Save a Lot down there on to the east of the Save a Lot and north a little bit. And what they do is they sell bicycles that have been they take donations. Now they're not taking donation bikes right now, so don't go down there with your bike that you don't want anymore. But they sell bikes. They offer classes, and they have an open shop. If you go down there and volunteer some time, you can use all their tools to fix your bike. Maybe Jed, do you know anything about Velocipede?
I do know about Velocipede. Yeah, so they basically fix up bikes, and you can buy bikes for a very low discount. You can take classes on learning how to fix up your bike. They used to take bike donations. I think they're pretty full on bike donations at the moment. So I recommend looking at Bike or the Baltimore Bike Experience if you're looking to donate bikes. But yeah, great organization. Alex is actually a mechanic for Bike Moore's free mobile bike shop that we run in the spring and summer, and a Remington resident. So sorry he's not on here, but yeah, Velocipede's awesome. And I can drop a link in the chat for their website too.
Yeah, please do that. I didn't think to do that. Yeah, we just bought my wife a bike down there. It's a beautiful a bike that was originally sold at REI for a bunch of money, and we got a great deal on it, and it's been professionally repaired, and she loves it, and it's a lot better than going out and spending $1,000 on a brand new bicycle, and it supports a really good cause. So go down there if you have an opportunity. Go down and check out Velocipede just to go in. I think it's by appointment only right now. I'm not positive. No, they do have open shop hours. That's right. They do have open shop hours. Just go to the website and check them out. The people down there are great. They're knowledgeable, and also if you're good at tinkering and you're good with your hands, it's a great place to go. If you're a maker and a fixer, you can go down there and fix bikes and volunteer your time, and cheap parts and all kinds of stuff. So yeah, that's it. Moving on, I'd like to go to Kristen Speaker for the Charles Street Development Corporation.
Hi, my name is Kristen Speaker. I'm the Executive Director of Charles Street Development. We are a nonprofit focused on improving Charles Street. Our boundaries are downtown, and we do stretch to Charles Village, but we aren't as in the weeds in Charles Village as we are in many other neighborhoods on Charles Street. Our office is at the AIA Center for Architecture and Design downtown at
Cut out.
Oh, Kristen, are you there?
You
Huh.
cut out.
What happened?
in north of Penn Station would go.
Kristen, you just cut out for a second. And now you're muted. We're having issues. Are you there? We can't hear you.
Is it working now?
Yeah, now it's working.
Okay, sorry about that. I'm not in my normal spot. I'm in the basement because I have family.
Now you're cutting out again, Kristen. You're cutting out.
Yeah, it's not gonna work.
Can't hear you. We can't hear you.
The BMA, University of Baltimore, many folks. I wanted to just mention some of the things we've worked on over the years was advocating for streetscape in Mount Vernon and Station North. For the last couple years, we've been really focusing on helping the small businesses with grants and those sorts of things, other resources for them as we were all, they were struggling through COVID. I was interested to hear about your festival because we have been involved in the Charles Street Promenade with Downtown Partnership. This is where we close Charles Street to traffic from downtown to just north of Penn Station. And we were actually planning to do it the Saturday of your festival. So there might be some ways we can work together. We don't actually bring in outside vendors, really. We mostly just focus on accentuating the institutions and businesses that are on Charles Street already and give a place for people to stroll, take a historic walking tour. And we'd like to encourage more biking. I know you have a lot of bikers in your group and folks in your neighborhood that bike. So maybe there's some sort of biking between the festival thing we can think about. But would love to connect with you on that. If you have any questions for me, happy to answer.
Hey, Miller, are you still here?
I'm here. Maybe you can just connect me with Christian. I know we're having connectivity issues. So I can ask my questions just about, I think we used to have a seat on the board and I have reached out a while back. So look forward to talking to you soon. Paul,
Sure.
Will you connect us?
Yeah, I'll make sure that you get Kristen's email.
Right. And Kristen, I'm happy to connect about ways that we might collaborate on our events on the same day. So feel free to reach out to me, bethtone@gmail.com. It's somewhere up in the chat, and we can get coordinated with the right people.
Great, sounds good. Sorry about my connectivity. This is not the best spot.
These things happen. That's fine. Does anybody have any questions for Kristen? Okay. Jed says, Kristen, I know we spoke to Eric Souza about the promenade, but Bike More can try to do mobile bike shop there and maybe do the festival too. And then just reach out to Jed there, Kristen, okay?
Okay.
Does anybody else have any questions for Kristen? Okay, London, is Leisha here? Leisha, are you here?
I don't believe Leisha will be able to make it this evening. We also had an event at the VLP this evening for estate planning. So I believe her and Lena made it there. And I'll be VLP's representative for this evening.
Excellent. Thank you, London.
Alrighty, everyone. Good evening. Good evening. I am London, Communications and Development Associate at the Village Learning Place. Like I said, I don't believe our Executive Director, Leisha will be here. So I will be speaking on behalf of the organization and informing you all, including those who do not know who we are. So the VLP is an independent nonprofit library that houses educational programs, enrichment opportunities, and informational resources for Charles Village and the Baltimore City area. We also have our mission geared towards promoting literacy, cultural awareness, and lifelong learning for all ages. So we recently celebrated 25 years of operation in November and celebrated on November 5th, which was really amazing. And we have many things coming up for the new year, but we are most notably recognized for our focus towards our link, Let's Invest in Neighborhood Kids programming, which is our school-wide initiative towards neighborhood youth, our Second Wednesday programming, which is our monthly speaker or specialty presentation, and as well as our yearly Read Between the Wines event, which is dedicated to bringing our neighbors out to celebrate in our historic library and garden. So I will let you know just like one awesome thing that just recently happened, and then I'll go and proceed and let you know about the upcoming events that we have going on at the VLP. So we recently had JHU, Johns Hopkins employees, 15 employees came out for a Martin Luther King Jr. Day of Service on Friday, January 20th to help out in the library. So they were an essential volunteer group that helped out in that space, and just wanted to make sure they were recognized. And I'll speak more on behalf of volunteers in a bit. But first, going on in library and programs, we have our winter yoga series returning with Dee from Bliss Body Yoga. So that'll be beginning every Tuesday from January 30th to March 28th in regards to just making sure we have a health initiative going on in our space. We also have our Second Wednesday event coming up on February 8th, which will feature Deborah Kitterman, who is a Baltimore City beekeeper and a previous pollinator program coordinator for the Maryland Agricultural Resource Council at the Baltimore County Agricultural Center. So that'll be February 8th. We also have in the library a reading challenge event going on. So on March 1st, we will have Beverly Jenkins come out and speak on behalf of Black Joy Between the Pages, a conversation with Beverly Jenkins, including our librarians. We are also focused on YouthWorks application assistance. And so our librarians will be helping out with YouthWork application assistance on Thursdays in January from 2 to 5 p.m. and Tuesdays in February from 3 to 5 p.m. And tonight we had our estate planning event, which our executive director and director of development attended. In regards to volunteer things that's going on at the VLP, we have our volunteer fair on February 23rd at Peabody Heights Brewery. And so this will be an opportunity for local organizations as well as locals in the community to connect with one another in more or less a speed dating style, so people can find the right fit for them. And then we also have a cleanup day with our partners at Margaret Brent. And that will be April 16th. So just another opportunity for our community to come together. And in regards to events, we are excited to say that Spaghetti Disco is back. And so that's pretty much our theme for Spaghetti Disco this year. And if you're unfamiliar, Spaghetti Disco is one of our traditions at the VLP where we have spaghetti and disco music, and we pretty much making a movie of an evening. But this year it'll be March 11th from 5:30 to 11 p.m. at the garage at our house. So please be on the lookout for more information in regards to all of these upcoming events and opportunities. And you can also find more information at villagelearningplace.org. And I believe that pretty much concludes what I have to give on the VLP.
Yeah, I put the link up in the chat, and also the address of the Village Learning Place. The Village Learning Place is a wonderful resource. It's one of our favorite nonprofits in the neighborhood. And if you're not online, if you don't have a computer, there's plenty of computers there. There's stacks of books there, and it's such a great resource for parents in the neighborhood. I know all three of my children spent time in the Village Learning Place, and my oldest is 31, my youngest is 16, and Maddie spent afternoons at the Village Learning Place for almost her whole time that she went to Margaret Brent, and it was just such a wonderful experience. Everybody there is just so great and wonderful, and I want to thank London for being here. Jennifer, did you have a question?
Don't really have a question, but I would like to also, and I just sent you and George copying Sandy, who's a board member of the 29th Street Community Center, just to make sure that the executive director of the 29th Community Center, who is in the community of Charles Village, has an opportunity to come talk about the things that we're doing as well. You know, we offer amazing after school programming, summer programming, events, and programming for community as well. So would appreciate the opportunity as the board chair for the organization that we, an invitation is extended to Maya to be able to talk about the great things that we're doing as well. Thanks.
That's great, Jennifer. I did not mean to leave the 29th Street Community Center out as another great nonprofit that's in the neighborhood that does great things for the neighborhood. So maybe our next meeting, we will attempt to get get you to come and speak to the 29th Street Community Center. We're kind of running out of time here. I don't want to keep everybody much longer. Does anybody have anything else to ask London about the Village Learning Place, or Jennifer about the 29th Street Community Center? Okay, if there's no more comments, I'd like to move on to new business. Does anybody have anything as far as new business goes? Nothing? Anybody announcements? Anybody want to make any announcements?
Hey, Paul, I just put the info for the quarterly Department of Justice hearing for the Baltimore Police Department consent decree. You can listen to the proceedings from the district court tomorrow by phone. I suggest that, always listen to the first hour, which is a good summary of things that are happening relative to the progress of achieving what's listed in the consent decree. So, and if people have questions, they can reach out to me, but the flyer's in the chat.
I got a message in the chat that says access to file restricted by my account administrator. Is everybody else getting that in the chat?
I'll type the telephone number in. It popped up in mine, but maybe that's just on my end. I'll type it in.
I don't know. Okay. Anybody have any questions or comments about anything that went on tonight? Anything that was discussed tonight? Does anybody have anything for me? For the group? Okay, well, our next community meeting is going to be on March 29th at 7 p.m. Well, unless, of course, we decide to have it in person, and we'll let you know before it happens. We tend to, when we have a community meeting in person, we have had it traditionally hold it in the Church of St. Philip's and James, up right on the corner of 29th and Charles there, and right across from right catty corner from the Wyman Park Dell. So the big church on the corner there. And if we have an in-person meeting, we usually have it at 6:30. So we have a half hour to hobnob with each other and just chit chat before the meeting starts. And we usually have some light refreshments and, and stuff like that. So, but we will let you know if if it is indeed a Zoom meeting next time around. We will be commencing at 7 o'clock, just like this time. There was a little confusion about that. And I think I probably created it, but I think we all got it pretty straight. And I want to thank everybody for coming tonight. Do I hear a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
Excellent. Everybody in favor? Yay, we're adjourning. Have a good night, everybody.
Thanks. Thank you.
Thanks, everybody, for coming.
Good night, everyone.
Night.
Good night.
Thanks.
Thanks a lot, Beth. Thanks for doing this.
Happy
Good
to.
night.